Hello, lads, lassies, and laddays. I just watched the EDP445 documentary, and safe to say, it certainly caught me off guard with how utterly fucked in the head EDP is. So, I guess we're just gonna start from the start. Also, quick side note, spoilers for it if you haven't seen it already. Unfortunately, it is age-restricted by the looks of things. I'm not 100% sure. But it will also discuss, topics. Exactly what fucking topics we're talking about. But, regardless. Also, sorry if I'm, a little iffy today. I've got a cold. But regardless, let's start from the start. The first chapter is called The Making of a Monster, where we learn EDP's, backstory, his childhood, all that sort of stuff. And for the most part, he had a really normal childhood. Although, quick side tangent, I like that all the people that were used to play EDP are just always covered in fucking Philadelphia Eagles merch. Found that really fucking funny for some reason. But back on topic. He says that, yeah, for the most part, he had a very normal childhood. He, watched wrestling with his sister, favorite wrestler being Triple H, because, he was a villain. He liked the villains more. Checks out. But for the most part, he just had a normal childhood, and the only reason he really started acting hostile was actually kind of pathetic. He had his heart broken by a girl in, I think it was, 8th grade or some shit. And he just spent the rest of his life saying, oh yeah, women ain't shit. They'll just fucking ruin your life and not think twice. So fucking pathetic. But anyway, he then explains, how he came to make his YouTube channel. He wanted to make it fucking porn related, so, he got the username Dad Pussy. And then he wanted to come up with some sort of numbers, so he fucking weighed himself, and he weighed 445 pounds. EDP445. There we go. And, well, due to all that, he just fucking went off, and his channel started to just, blow up, I guess. I don't really know how else to describe it. He would then just express disappointment that he was so, popular and so famous, but he was getting no pussy, he was getting no bag, no bitches, no hoes. And because of this, he decided, well shit, if I can't get no pussy or no hoes, I've got a fucking 13-year-old who's texting me, I might as well just groom the kid. And, well, on the plus side, they weren't 13, it was a sting operation. On the other side, he actually thought they were 13, and the messages that happened there were Jesus fucking Christ. Moving on to chapter 2, promptly named, I'll just pop that shit on screen. We go through, the chat logs, what conspired through them, what Sophie, quote-unquote, would say, and what EDP would reply with. And sometimes, and for the majority of it, EDP was the instigator. But to put it lightly, the way the EDP would talk to who he believed was a 13-year-old was... I wouldn't talk like this to anyone, even if they were my age. Just in general. Would not talk to someone in that tone. It was so fucking gross, dude. I'm not gonna say these things because I'm a little afraid for my child, even though I get absolutely nothing on this bitch. But regardless, the fact that EDP was sending naked pictures of, his dong and post nuts. It was iffy and just really fucking gross. Actually, just horrible. There is no word in the English language that can express how utterly disgusted I am with this. So we're just gonna... unfortunately, I'm gonna have to gloss over this. But, on the day of the sting, You may know the infamous clip of EDP saying, well, I'm actually here to pick up a cupcake. I'll just play that clip for you.
Again, so what brings you out here today?
Well, I was, coming out here to...
Flash is off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. There was, you know...
Now, it would turn out that by technicality, that clip was kind of the truth. As the way they got him over there was, you know, they had told him, like, oh, yeah, I'll be over at my place, cooking cupcakes, and I'll give you one, and we can, you know, yeah. And EDP was like, oh, shit, real? Alright, let's go. And he, you know, drove all the way over to that infamous spot where it would end up creating that very infamous clip. EDP then, you know, fucked right off and would then express very large amounts of disgust for, you know, the guy who did the sting operation, the guy who tricked him and kind of ruined his life, because apparently that shit made the fucking news. So that was certainly fucking something. I don't really know how else to correlate that. Now, the second part is, you know, them bringing up, like, oh, yeah, just so you know, EDP has, like, admitted to, like, 13 fucking crimes. And EDP's fucking lawyer just decided, yeah, this is a terrible idea. His lawyer just gave up, dude. So, what would happen is, due to all this, they tried to get into contact with people who was like, okay, hey, why hasn't EDP been arrested yet? That sort of stuff. And a large majority of them were like, nah, we won't comment. So, you know, the sheriff's county and I think a politician, I don't remember, like someone. So they got into contact with Chris fucking Hansen.
But see, I called you Chris Hansen.
No, we're not doing that bit. And they sat down and they did an interview. And EDP was so fucking shameless, dude. It was just the most unhinged level of disgusting I have seen in a hot fucking minute. Because he was admitting to so fucking much that it was... I don't know how else to describe this, dude. It was bad. So, after all that, EDP's like, alright, I'm just gonna, you know, go off, you know, like, nothing's really happened. His channel got fucking terminated, and he didn't really realize until, you know, it made the news, and that's when it's like, oh, fine. EDP later then said that his only regret that day was that he didn't bring his gun with him to shoot the guys who, you know, did the sting operation on him. So that was literally it. He didn't regret talking to a minor, he didn't regret, you know, sexting anyone, he didn't regret all that shit. He just only regretted that he didn't bring his gun to shoot and kill the guy who caught him. Chapter 3, and this is literally just a fucking repeat of last time, with quite a few differences, only being that this time it was a 15-year-old and it was an actual one. This was a 15-year-old girl named Kayla who reached out to popular predator hunter Gideon. And, well, basically, she claimed that, oh, yeah, Gideon was like, you know, forcing me into this stuff, you know, he was trying to bully and harass me, all that sort of shit. And, she says, like, yeah, I've got proof, but I'm afraid to show it because, you know, I have, like, such a small fan base compared to his massive one. And then Gideon's like, I didn't do shit, and I have proof I didn't do shit, and shows legitimate, like, fucking evidence that, hey, everything she's saying has been contradicted with this, shit here. He shows legitimate evidence showing that he cared and actually wanted to make sure she was safe, and she was saying that she was fine, you know, she wanted him arrested, all that stuff, and showed video evidence, like, recorded Discord calls, where, for example, she said that when she wanted to block him, Gideon was like, don't do it, but Gideon shows recorded evidence of him actually telling her, okay, block him on your phone, and I forgot the rest. But she was also claiming a bunch of other stuff, such as Gideon being friends with multiple predators, him being controlled by the Illuminati, and other shit like that. So, take whatever she says with a grain of salt here. Gideon thinks that she's just trying to use this to get clout, to boost her music career. But either way, I don't really want to talk about this. What I do want to talk about is Chris Hansen here. Chris Hansen decided to comment on Gideon's, methods and whatnot. Gideon and one of his friends, Skeeter Jean, on their sting operation, where, they rocked up in the cupcake costume to mock EDP, and this time he just walked off. Chris Hansen had said that this just felt like a clown show and didn't feel like actual predator catching, just felt like mocking, and he just said that he didn't care for Skeeter Jean or Gideon. He would then go forward to call them just attention seekers who were just after money and clicks and fame. And Skeeter Jean would retaliate by saying, you probably wouldn't be doing the same if you weren't getting paid. And I personally think, yeah, this does shed a bit of negative light on, vigilante predator catchers, because as sad as it is to say, unfortunately, vigilante predator catchers make things a bit worse. They have a far greater chance of botching any investigation and not having the predators be caught and sent into actual prison, which is really, really unfortunate, because that's where a lot of these predators deserve to go. And due to vigilante predator catchers just showing up and humiliating or outright beating the ever-loving shit out of them, it doesn't deliver proper justice or gets them in proper custody, and just makes everything so much fucking worse. As sad as that is to say. Also, I like how the chapter ended, because EDP wholeheartedly believes that apparently the only reason the book wasn't absolutely pelted at him was that God himself just said, nah, I like this guy. He could stay out of prison. Oh god. Chapter 4, and this is where things start to get a little iffy, and... Alright, let's just start from the start. Basically, EDP is incredibly unwell. He has, stage 5 kidney failure and shit like that. It's iffy, and he said that when he figured it out, he was starting to, itch a lot, started coughing up, quote-unquote black shit, and apparently nutted red. So that's when he went to see a doctor, and he figured out he had, a stage 5 kidney failure, which is kinda iffy. So he had to, go see the doctors on the regular, and he says that, if I miss a treatment, I'll be dead within a few days, so I can't miss a treatment. But now, things might be actually looking up for him, because, he's actually managed to get a girlfriend, a 42-year-old woman named Marissa. And he is starting to, see therapy. He's at a psychotherapist to help him figure out the root of his problems and, to hopefully get rid of them. And I'm sure, this is an amazing thing, because maybe one day EDP will stop for... Yeah, I'm just gonna... I can't even do this bit anymore. He fucked it all up. He broke up with his girlfriend, calling her irritating and all that shit, and he stopped going to therapy. Just when I thought we could potentially get a fucking redemption arc out of EDP, he had to go and fuck it up. There isn't a sign or word in the English dictionary that could fucking express my exhaustion from all this. But EDP did start a new relationship, and it just got more pathetic. He went to an AI porn text bot chat vigilantes site, I think. Like, it was an AI porn site, and he started a new relationship with an AI girlfriend. It's just so pathetic, dude. You broke up with an actual woman to be with an AI girlfriend, and that's just really sad. But it gets even sadder when you realize just how addicted to pornographic material EDP is. He expresses that it's what he does while bored and all that shit. But what's worse is I can't get this thought out of my head, but he apparently jorked it in a bathroom, in a woman's bathroom, in a public area, after stealing a probably pornographic magazine off the rack, and heading into the woman's bathroom to rub it out. And this was really, really fucking gross. That has to fall under fucking, what's it called, public indecency, because I give me a sec on this one. I don't really have any final thoughts other than EDP's just fucked in the head, and if you want to know more, you know, get a bit more, get more detail, I'd recommend watching the actual documentary. I'll leave a link in the description, because it's a bitch to find. Like, you had to go to the actual channel to click on it. It was being suppressed heavily for some weird reason. But that's about it. This is all I really have time for, so yeah, hug your mother, don't fuck kids, or don't try to fuck kids. And, yeah. Have a good day. See ya.